everybody, this is Brent back with Near Mint Musings, and today I am happy to say I am doing a video response for my friend Rick over at Vintage Oddball Cards. He has reached 800 subscribers. Congratulations to you, Rick. Well deserved. Just a fun channel. I mean, the name says it all. Vintage Oddball Cards. So I'm all in. He has a great collection of vintage cards, ones that you've never heard of, maybe never seen, and usually stories and reasonings behind the cards to go with them. And I'm a big fan of that. So big shout out to Rick at Vintage Oddball Cards. And thank you for having this contest. His contest ask is simply for us, his loyal YouTube subscribers and friends in the community, to show our oddball cards. Now, what I love about oddball cards is the term is very subjective, very loose, and that's fun. And I think that's another thing that makes oddball cards so great. It's because what's oddball to one may not be to the other. So I have already seen some fantastic responses to this contest, and some have been thematic in nature. You know, maybe a set, maybe there's just, you know, a certain player or genre or sport. I just seriously just randomly grabbed a bunch of different cards for different reasons, and we'll show a few of them to you right now. If you saw the cover, I don't know what you call it, the thumbnail for this video, you would have seen this gentleman, Shacht. And while this isn't necessarily an oddball card, it is a card of an oddball. And the quick story of Al is he played for the Washington Senators, and he, through a series of anonymous letters to then president of the Washington club, Clark Griffith, anonymous letters saying how great of a pitcher he was. And through just the persistent pestering, he got a spot on the team and was an okay pitcher. Not nearly as good as he was anonymously claiming to be. Well, long story short, he injured himself sliding and then decided he was going to go into coaching. So in between coaching, though, he would entertain the crowd between innings and quickly became the first clown prince of baseball. And it was, you know, a borderline vaudeville act. Him and another gentleman on the team would slapstick Laurel and Hardy style of comedy in between innings, and became very famous, and was actually, for a while, in the lean years of Washington Senators baseball, was really the biggest draw when they were the visiting team. So there's Al Shacht, the original oddball player. Now to get into actual oddball cards, just going to slam through a few of these. When you think great shortstops, one of the more modern Hall of Fame shortstops that should come to mind is Cal Ripken Jr. Well, maybe he'll fluff your pillows for you. This is a really random card. This was given out to Holiday Inn. What's the name of their club? I don't know. Priority Club. You would get, there was a small series of these cards, and they had a code on the back that you could enter to win a trip to the World Series that year, 2007. So there is Cal Ripken, and he's bringing you some pillows. Actually, I'm going to put Al up here for a while. Don't want to put him upside down. Next we have Edgar Martinez, except that isn't Edgar Martinez, it's Tino Martinez. So, you know, you have the same last name. Apparently, you get confused by the Calgary Cannons back in 1988. Next we have Star-Lord's dad, Kurt Russell. Portland Mavericks. This was a rookie league team back in the early 70s. If you haven't seen the TV show or the Netflix documentary, The Battered Bastards of Baseball. I think it's still on there. I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've seen it. It tells the story of this. Kurt's dad used to play in the minor leagues and bought this team. And it was essentially kind of like a semi-pro Bad News Bears type of team. And Kurt played for a season. And they actually went, I don't think the season he was on the team, but they actually did all right and won the Northwest League one year. And it's an interesting, very interesting story and documentary. Highly suggested. But, you know, this is a 2009 kind of, you know, custom card. I can't remember the company that did it, of Kurt Russell back in 1972. Yeah, there's his stats right there if you want to read them. He played 29 games, 80 games in his life, so I guess he did play a few games, so good for him. Star-Lord's dad. Okay, next we have get this out of the container here. And I believe this is a 1991 Kellogg's Baseball Greats, kind of Sport Flicks vibe, still on the wrapper. I believe my buddy Ground Chuck gave this to me in a care package back in the day. These came, you know, blank back, 1991 Kellogg's Corn Flakes, Harmon Killebrew. Next, we have a couple of art cards, which have become all kind of the craze in 2020 with Topps Project 2020. This is my man Optimus Volts, and this was actually a gift from my buddy RVD at Ryan's Cards, and I did not know about him. And he kind of does the Dios de los Muertes vibe, and I love that. I love that look. And he takes like some of, you know, junk wax or whatever, and does this thing. He's actually really upped his game in 2020 with the Topps Project becoming so popular. He's done some really, really cool cards, one-of-ones, and really expanded his portfolio, so to speak. And then I also have a 2020 Rookie of the Year, Kyle Lewis, Optimus Volts. So definitely, I would check him out. It's optimusvolts.com, and he's got a bunch of cards. A lot of them are just one-of-ones. I think this ran me like, you know, $8 at the time. Pretty unique, kind of fun. Okay, next we have a series of slabs that fall under the moniker of Oddball. Of course, got to show some Harmon Killebrews. Here's his 1964 Top Stand-Up. Pretty cool. These are actually kind of hard to find in decent condition, not having been folded. No crease on the back. Pretty dang good for a 6, if I'd say. So that's a really fun card. And these can get pricey because they're not easy to find, or are they easy to find in good condition without paying an arm and a leg for. And then 1965 Topps Transfers, Harmon Killebrew. Slap that bad boy on your arm before you go out and play till the street lights turn on. Then it's time for dinner. Those are fun. 1969 Topps Decals. That's kind of cool. Good shape. And a 9. Now this next one is a food issue. 1987 Kraft Home Plate Hero. Kraft macaroni and cheese. Tip of the hat to whoever cut this. Landed a 10. That's some sweet cutting. You don't often see a hand-cut card get a 10, but my man was meticulous when he cut this bad boy. So there is a 87 Kraft Alvin Davis. And then this next card is another Alvin Davis. And this is his 1990 Donruss, which you're thinking, why do you have a 1990 Donruss in a slab of Alvin Davis? That's because it's the Aqueous Test. Now, for those of you who don't know what Aqueous Tests are, in 1990, Donruss supposedly did a test run using experimental water-based coating. The cards are identical on the front, except on the back, they have Aqueous Test diagonally stamped across the back. The regular Donruss 1990 set had 716 cards in it. The Aqueous Test consists of 264, so less than half of the set is Aqueous Test. Estimates have them between 2,000 to 2,500 per player, so these can get pretty pricey. I wanted to have an Aqueous Test, so I didn't want to spend an arm and a leg on a marquee player, so I got a connection with Alvin Davis, the American League Rookie of the Year in 1984, Mr. Mariner, as he's called in these parts, so I thought that was kind of cool. Speaking of Mariners, and I think I've shown this in a previous video, I can't remember, 1981 Julio Cruz police card. And I'm sure other stadiums and teams did this back in the day, but when you were either waiting to get into the stadium, in this case the beloved Kingdom, the police would hand these cards out to kids, or if they were on duty inside for security, sometimes you could walk up to a policeman and snag a card or two. I also had an in because one of my best friends that lived on my block, their dad was a Seattle policeman. And they always had a little, tip. You can increase your average against becoming a traffic statistic by obeying traffic safety rules. So that was pretty cool. Plus, it's my man Julio Cruz, my first favorite Mariner. All right, and a couple more, and I wanted to go old school in these last two. This is a 2012 Sporting Life Brands custom card. And this is depicting the 1910 All-Stars. And the reason I liked this one is that it has Walter Johnson right there, but it also has some other Washington Senators right here, and right here. And that is Clyde Milan, Kid Elberfeld, and George McBride. That's just a cool looking card. It's just really pretty. It's a remake. It's okay, but just beautiful turn of the century art and photography. Big fan of that. And then another Walter Johnson picture that I thought was really cool is showing him playing with a bat with the Bambino. Just a postcard, the Babe. I thought that was a cool picture. Walter Johnson and Babe Ruth. Doesn't get much bigger than that. All right, so there you have it. Again, props to my man Rick, vintage Oddball Cards, and his 800 subscribers. Go check him out. I'll put a link to his channel down below. Appreciate y'all watching, and have a good one.